On tonight's Thronecast, an unholy alliance stokes the Lannisters.
He's torn our family apart.
Dany fires up the Dothraki. And taking up arms is a risky business.
Don't let her suffer.
Joining us tonight is the Lannister-loving knight Ian Beattie, a.k.a. the glorious villain Sir Meryn Trant. Your watch begins. Thronecast with me, Sue Perkins, better known as the Four-Eyed Raven. Tonight we'll be sitting down and having a discussion nowhere near as awkward as Samwell and Gilly did at the Tarley household. Although, I must say, having someone say, "Aren't you fat enough?" pretty good deterrent from me eating any more bread. Another cracking episode, do we think? Yes? Absolute cracker. Reunions are plenty. Iron Needle, Bran and Uncle Benjen, Daenerys and Drogon, Gilly and a bottle of Timotei. Finally, she has met shampoo. Joining me tonight is a man who, just like the Lannister family, is inbred. It's Paul Hollywood! Hey, Paulie.
Hello, Sue.
How are you doing, darling? You all right?
I'm good.
So how was that ep for you?
I thought it was amazing, actually. I mean, the Sparrows, I thought it was all going to kick off, because I thought that was his last one. He's going to go. And it didn't happen. He's a clever one. It reminds you very much. It's almost Spanish Inquisition, you know. It's that sense of
flavour.
Red. Yeah. And I'm thinking, something's got to give there. Something's got to give. I know that he's lined himself with the king now, but how long's that going to last for?
So you think the Sparrows it's going to fall off his perch?
I think he could do, yeah.
Oh, I'd like to see that. Time is coming. Now, time to welcome a man who exited Game of Thrones in a really blinding episode. It's Sir Meryn Trant, a.k.a. the wonderful Ian Beattie! I'm blowing kisses off. Oh, you're a beauty. I can't have it at my age. It's a hard thing applauding Meryn Trant, isn't it?
Terrible.
We applaud the magnificent actor inside.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're so glad to have you with us.
This is great. This is like the great Game of Thrones bake-off. Just get Mary and Mel in here and we're
Game of
flying.
Scones, as I'm constantly being sent pictures of. So, what did you make of that ep?
Very interesting. A lot of things happening there that are going to pay off, I think, in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Very interested to see Arya get the needle back out again.
Yeah,
that was a big point.
A very
for me,
big moment.
Because I never thought Arya was ever going to stay in the House of Black and White. It was a stepping stone to somewhere else. And I think she's going to resume her identity. At least I think she is.
I mean, it was a busy... For all that, you know, it perhaps didn't have the big set pieces in the battle scenes, an incredibly detailed and interesting ep. Let's start, if we can, in King's Landing. As Paulie said, things almost kicked off tonight, but we're sort of toned down by Tommen, by the presence of the king. Do you really believe that the High Sparrow has got Marjorie on side, Ian?
No.
Not for a second?
Not for a second. I think Marjorie is a fantastic actress, and I think that's exactly what she's doing at the moment. She's playing a part once again. I don't think the High Sparrow personally is safe. I mean, I don't think this is over by any stretch of the imagination.
So you agree with Paul that the High Sparrow is for the chop?
Yeah, I think so. You don't paint Cersei into a corner. Not Cersei Lannister.
Oh, you really don't.
Not my Cersei.
But do you? But why has Tommen, Paul, joined the faith? Do you think it was just political expediency, just to get Marjorie out of prison, or do you think genuinely he's been sort of captivated by it?
I think he's captivated by Marjorie, not the faith. And I think Marjorie's the great manipulator. She will end up heading that faith, and she will become the power. I think.
Do you think so?
Yeah, she is a very clever woman.
So she'll be like the Lady Sparrow. So we'll get rid of the High Sparrow, and she'll sort of...
and she'll step in and take that control. And I think then she'll dominate and have more of a threat of force.
No, I don't think so.
No, what do you reckon?
I still think don't rule Cersei Lannister out.
You think she'll just her and the Mountain will just cut a sway?
I think Cersei Lannister considers Marjorie her enemy.
I think you're right. But I think with the Mountain standing next to her, I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, if it's between the two of them, I think I would back
Your money's on Cersei?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love
Always.
Cersei.
Yeah.
Well, you've got Jaime, Cersei and the Tyrells spoiling, as Paul said, for a fight, all turning up. and suddenly denied their big moment. So how do you think they're going to be feeling about Tommen's decision?
I think they're going to be perplexed about Marjorie, I think. I think they realise their daughter's a clever one. I think the mother-in-law certainly is going to want to be talking to her daughter immediately and say, what is going on, you know?
Yeah, what do you do?
I think behind closed doors, I think it'll open up a bit more about what exactly is going on. But I'm sure Marjorie will just keep her cards close to her chest. I think that the idea that she's fooling the king into this faith thing, I think it's just to get her out of there. She needed to see the king, and that was the first time they'd met since she was imprisoned. Yeah. And I think she's utilised that to get out.
But doesn't trust the king enough, doesn't trust Tommen enough to be honest and say, look, I'm playing a game here, work with me. So she's lying to him as well.
He's too young. He's too young.
I love his innocence.
And he's quite weak at the moment. I think he isn't showing the strength that he might show in the future, that I certainly hope he shows in the future. He's in a pretty weak spot at the moment.
He feels weak, but at the same time mindful, because you know this better than anyone, no scene is wasted in Game of Thrones. And there was that scene at 2 eps back where he went to his mum and said, teach me. And I'm slightly, part of me thinks, is this part of his strategy? Does he have a bigger game plan? Who knows? Possibly he's too vulnerable and innocent to have that going on. But I don't know, rule nothing out. Jaime and Cersei certainly want the High Sparrow dead and the Faith Militant out of King's Landing. What do you think their next move is going to be? This big fight that we expected didn't happen, so what's the next play?
Well, I think Cersei made a very good decision to send Jaime off at the head of an army to get Jaime's prestige back. I think that will help get Jaime's prestige back when he's leading his troops.
Yeah.
And it will also make the Lannisters once more an object of fear. That they will be feared and they will be held in good regard. So I think that's a pretty good decision by Cersei.
It's true, because now Tywin's gone, the Lannisters have fallen, their great brand has fallen slightly into disarray, hasn't it? I mean, and so far we know that Jaime has failed to protect his daughter. You know, he's lost a hand, you know, he's, as you say, he's a rather diminished warrior, isn't it? Maybe this will be good for him, Paulie, going out and...
I think Jaime going away with it to create that relationship between the army of the Lannisters and himself being the head man. That puts the king in a very precarious position as well. It's almost gladiatorial, where they go back into Rome and take over Rome with the power of the army. I think whoever heads the army heads the Lannisters. And I think Jaime going out there and proving himself again with his other hand, then I think once he gets his confidence and his skills back again, I think he'll become a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Well, you mentioned the mountain, the considerable strength and qualities of the mountain, and of course Cersei has him as her protector. We wondered who our audience at home would choose to have their back in Game of Thrones. Let's look at the poll results. There they are. Dragon. I'm presuming Drogon, because he's the most effective at the moment. He's had the most airtime. The others are a bit cooped. Surprisingly, direwolves, Alex. There's only 2, I think, direwolves left.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about direwolves without crying, so let's not go there. The Hound... part of me hopes the Hound is still alive on a rock somewhere.
I think he is.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think he is, yeah.
You think he is too?
I do. I think the Hound will be back. I just do. I don't... You did not see him die.
You did not see him.
You're not going to come back, though, are you, really?
No, I'm so incredibly dead, yeah. I can't even come back as a White Walker because I don't have any eyes. I didn't know.
You have to put contact lenses in. You'd be really screwed. Yeah, we can safely say I think your character is well and truly... It's over.
Yeah, he's gone.
But just because you didn't see the Hound die, we don't know. We didn't see Stannis die, and yet we know he's dead, so... But I'd love to see the Hound come back. But there was the top 2. They did Dragon and Direwolves. Of course, Twitter and Game of Thrones both have many things in common. For example, they both have 140 characters or so. Please tweet us your opinions about tonight's show. Just make sure you use the hashtag GOTAtlantic. Now, Ian, Sir Meryn served under an inordinate amount of kings. Well, not an inordinate amount. You had Joffrey and Robert. So... a ruthless character, but nonetheless not a little lacking in personal courage, would you say?
Oh, I always believed, I mean, from season 1, from the first episode, I believed that Sir Meryn was completely unsuited to be a Kingsguard, that he had no honour, that he had no courage. I thought that he was a coward, I thought that he was a bully, and it was in season 5, you found out the personal side of him was that he was a monster as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was very telling whenever I was beating Sansa again in season 2, and Tyrion comes in with Bronn, and Tyrion says, Sir Meryn, if you open your Bronn, if Sir Meryn opens his mouth again, kill him. And Sir Meryn did nothing. I thought that was very telling.
It's interesting. I think you're absolutely right. He didn't deserve to be a King's Guard. And we saw, of course, Jaime losing his seat of power, essentially, and no longer a member of the King's Guard. Lost his membership in one fell swoop. He'll now never be a beefeater. But is the King's Guard just body armour and capes? And if it is, well, what's wrong with that? As luck would have it, Jaime East was briefly a member in the early 90s. So here he is with the lowdown.
The King's Guard comprise of 7 royal bodyguards who protect the Iron Throne. Renowned for being the finest knights in the 7 kingdoms, they're sworn to protect their king and the royal family.
No one threatens his grace in the presence of the King's Guard.
They were established under Aegon the Conqueror's rule by his wife Queen Visenya, following a Dornish assassination attempt in the streets of King's Landing. Knights of the King's Guard take an oath to protect the King's orders and keep his secrets. Similar to members of the Night's Watch, knights also take a vow which forbids them from owning land, taking a wife, or fathering children.
Your Grace, the King's Guard is a sworn brotherhood. Our vows are taken for life. Only death relieves us of our sacred trust.
After their initiation, knights receive a white cloak to wear with their gold armour. As a result of this, members are often referred to as white cloaks. Its muted colour is symbolic of their role, as they must be seen, not heard, until the king asks them for advice. The King's Guard are led by the Lord Commander, a position currently held by Jaime Lannister. Jaime joined the King's Guard at the age of 16 and has served 4 kings. The Lord Commander is always chosen by the king, with seniority and ability playing part of the decision. Jaime was made Lord Commander by King Joffrey after Sir Barristan Selmy was ordered to step down.
I am a knight. I shall die a knight.
The Lord Commander sits on the small council as the King's advisor in military matters. The history of the King's Guard is recorded in the White Book. Each member has a section dedicated to their personal history and achievements.
Someone forgot to write down all your great deeds.
There's still time.
Notable members of the King's Guard include Meryn Trant, the Mountain and the Hound. The Hound abandoned his post during the Battle of Blackwater Bay after witnessing the horror of wildfire.
Fuck the King's Guard. Fuck the city. Fuck the king.
The Hound's disheartened view of the King's Guard was also echoed by Barristan Selmy after his disposal.
I've burnt away my years fighting for terrible kings.
He swore an oath.
Yes, the man of honour keeps his vows, even if he's serving a drunk or a lunatic.
Being part of the King's Guard was historically a great honour, but under the Lannisters it appears that this admiration is slowly diminishing.
Cheers, Jamie. Now, as we know, tonight, Jaime Lannister lost his position of Lord Commander of the King's Guard, but he has been given a new job. Tommen commanded Jaime to go to Riverrun. Walder Frey turned up wanting Riverrun back in his hands, and we know from last week's that Sansa's uncle Blackfish is in control. So let's just quickly remind ourselves where and what the Riverlands are. The Riverlands is a region located in the centre of Westeros, ruled from the Castle of Riverrun. House Tully ruled the Riverlands since the Targaryen conquest, right up until the Red Wedding, when they were taken by House Frey, another noble house of the region. Littlefinger recently revealed that Brynden Tully, a.k.a. Blackfish, had rallied the remaining Tully troops and taking Riverrun back from the Freys. Also heading to Riverrun are the Frey army, with their hostage Edmure Tully, last seen heading off to bed his new bride at the Red Wedding. They're going to be joined by the Lannister army, led by Jaime, to take on the Tullys at the fortress. Oh, I mean, all eyes, Ian, on Riverrun.
Yeah. Tactically, it's hugely important. In the world of Westeros, if you hold Riverrun, you hold the gateway to the south or the gateway to the north. And the alternatives for going around Riverrun are just too great for a travelling army.
You're right,
so
it's
Riverrun is
huge.
key.
Yeah.
Key.
And also very fertile for crops, or formerly fertile anyway, so just a great place to be and to hold sway over.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's vitally important. I think it's why Catelyn Stark found it so important to try and make peace with the Freys, because she knew that Robb couldn't make his way south without Riverrun, and that was just...
Trouble is coming. Oh.
I love it because it's like you're brought into this world and it's another dimension. And there's so many links with the past, you know, in medieval Britain. medieval, medieval world is coming alive again in Game of Thrones. And obviously, it's all strategic now. So even the writers think about strategic positions of where you would need to attack. Yeah. And the whole thing, it's like a book just unfolding. Every single... I love it. Because I saw the first series when it originally came out, years ago. And I kept away. Not that I wasn't interested, I was just all over the place. And then about a month ago, I said to you, because we were chatting, and I said, I need to start watching that again, because I knew it was coming on. And literally, I saw season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 2 weeks during filming. And I watched it in the evening. I came out and said, nearly there, and then bang, I was right up to date. I love it. Because my mind's awash. I think when you watch it over a period of time, you absorb it. I think the way I've done it, my mind's just swimming. Yeah.
Listen, it's... And then you watch it again, and then you watch it again, and then you're in the room. It's amazing. But you're right, strategically, it's huge. Time for a quick break now, but to be honest with you, I'm still really upset about Hodor. That guy was a great all-round people carrier. Welcome back to Thronecast. Now, we met Sam's family for the first time tonight. First impressions of them and the homestead, Paul?
Bit awkward.
Yeah.
I had no idea, because, you didn't know much about him at all. And then you see his family. I mean, I was a bit... Really? Is that where he came from?
Well, yeah, the father is the guy that said, if you don't go off to the Night's Watch, then I'll make sure you have a hunting accident. That was on his 18th birthday. All the lols.
I mean, he grew a set... He did sort of grow a set of nuts at the end, and he took the sword. Is his father going to chase after him? Probably, yes. I think he's a great character. Weak and strong. I mean, the whole thing he killed a White Walker. I mean, that was an accident. I mean, that was just a sheer accident. That was impulsive, I think, to save the girl. But fascinating setup. I think it was certainly around the dining table.
Yeah, how did you find that scene, Ian?
Not quite as bad as a Bolton dinner party, I would have to say. A little bit more pleasant than that. I think the two families should get together and come dine with me or something.
Well, you say that. We might have prepped a few contenders. Dinner at the Tarleys isn't exactly the dream evening. That's nothing I think that a quick game of bananagrams couldn't sort out. It isn't much better, however, anywhere else in Westeros. Just for Ian, let's take a look at our favourite dining moments. Could we have the bill, please?
If you're lucky enough to be invited for dinner, keep the conversation light.
Still growing? I think so, Your Grace. And have you bled yet?
Before you get cooking, remember to check they're not vegan.
Yeah. Pork sausage. You think I'm some sort of savage?
Tell me, Tyrion, what did you put in that stew to make it so delicious?
Milked my eel into a pot of turtle stew. I flogged the one-eyed snake. I skinned my sausage. I made the bald man cry. Into the turtle stew.
Always buy your poultry from a reputable butcher.
But just one time, before you die, you really ought to try crow.
Leg, breast, or arm?
He's choking!
Help the poor boy!
Probably best to alert your host if you're allergic to shellfish.
Idiots, help your king!
Wait!
Now, Ian, I'm afraid it's probably time to talk about that stabby little elephant in the room, Arya Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's difficult for you to go over. Given a second chance by Jack and Nagar, and then abandoned her mission again. What's she playing at?
I do think Arya is using the House of Black and White as a stepping stone. I never believed for a second she was going to stay there. She has a list. She has not forgotten. She will not forget who she is.
No.
The idea of her becoming a faceless person with no name, that is not Arya Stark, and it never will be.
No. I mean, we saw her, Paul, didn't we, retrieve her beloved sword, Needle. Clearly Arya Stark, as soon as she touches that. Why was she still pretending to be no one? I mean, what was she learning from that experience, do you think?
I think she saw a power that she was curious about, who saved her life. And she wanted to know more. And I think she used him And I think he knows that, which I find bizarre. I think there's something going to happen in the waif. Obviously, I think she's going to be killed by Arya, for sure. That is a set. Maybe next week. I don't know. Not that I know. I'm just saying.
I love and hate the waif in equal measure. Incredible character, brilliantly played.
Yeah.
But you're right, there's something sort of rather paternal about Jack and Hagar. I mean, even you know, he seemed to give the all clear to killing Arya, but said don't let her suffer. Do you think, Ian, that Paul's right, or is Arya a sort of dead start walking?
No, Arya is not. I mean, I have very high hopes for Arya to see out the entire storyline.
You would not want to be murdered by somebody who then became sort of increasingly
just died in the next episode. No, I wouldn't fancy that at all.
Is this like tennis, you know, like Wimbledon? If you're going to go out, you may as well go out to the person
to
who's
the
going to win.
champion. Absolutely. So, no, I think Arya has places to go, people to see, people to cross off her list. I do think Arya is a survivor. I think that's why she went to the House of Black and White, to learn things that she was going to need to go back into battle again.
Because she had no subtlety. She was very sort of all about the hue and the cry. She didn't have any... You know, what she's learnt probably from the House of Black and White is how to just dissemble and sneak up on people and be a bit more crafty, I think.
The tenacity of the woman, though, is just staggering. When she sat outside for, like, days, and she just follows it and doesn't stop. I mean, once it's lockjaw, isn't it? Once she's in, that's it. Won't let go till she's got everything she needs.
And her list is paramount. And you were, of course, the last person that she's ticked off on that list. Presumably, do you think she'll return to that list now? We know Cersei's certainly on there, the Mountain, Walder Frey's on there.
I'm absolutely certain of it. I'm absolutely certain she'll return to the... Ow!
yeah. Bad.
Oh, wicked. No, I'm absolutely certain. I was, if you like, the first one that she deliberately... that it wasn't kind of a quick, instinctive and reactive thing. This was deliberate, it was thought out, and it was torture. So I think that there are more people on the list, and there will be more people taken off the list. I'm sure of it.
To be fair, Meryn, not the nicest of men. I mean, deserved to die.
He was misunderstood. He was. Everybody thought he was a coward and a bully. As it turned out, he was a monster and a paedophile as well. Completely misunderstood.
Yeah, I mean, that's a way to totally put pay to his horrific behaviour.
Oh, it was awful. I mean, and it wasn't revealed to me until I got the scripts for the last 2 episodes. I didn't know that side of the character was going to be brought out, because David and Dan are 2 wonderful guys. They will actually phone you to tell you Valar Morghulis, or in this case, Meryn Morghulis. And, you know, you have to take the phone call. You can't turn around and say, you know, I'm in the shower, can you call back next season? But they phoned me and they told me the bad news. But when they told me, they just said, you're going to get to see a really nasty side of Sir Meryn. They didn't tell me what it was, so I thought I was going to kill somebody popular. I thought that was it, and then, of course, I read the script.
I suppose there must be some sort of think, well, if I'm that evil, I deserve to go. That's fair
I would
enough.
have taken a week to kill Meryn Trant, honestly. He was an absolute, complete and total monster. Had no redeeming features whatsoever. No redeeming qualities.
Did you find, when you knew you were going to leave, did you find out halfway through the season, at the beginning of the season?
At the beginning.
Right at the beginning?
Right at the beginning, they phoned me. Now, as it turned out, I'd already read the first 4 episodes, so I actually knew that I was for the off, because this is a secret. Don't tell anybody. I knew from season 2 that Arya was going to kill me, and I couldn't tell anybody.
Did your eyes go
because
white?
It was like it was let slip to me, and I knew it hadn't been written in the books, and I couldn't tell anybody, and I didn't tell anybody.
Good for you, because this
no
show...
spoilers.
Oh, exactly. It dies on a spoiler. We've got time for one very quick question, I think, from Lisa, who's in the audience. Where are you, lovely Lisa? You guys be very quick.
Hi, how did they simulate your blinding by Arya?
Oh, gory, Quezzy.
Yeah, it was a very interesting day, very long, bloody, sticky day. Well, when the first eye went out, it went out at about 8:20, and we had a blood tube up here, so when she stabbed, there wasn't a dagger. The dagger was CGI'd in, so she just stabbed me with the hilt, and then hand went over the eye, loads of blood, cut, taken away, prosthetic on the eye, then same thing for the other eye, blood, everything, prosthetic on the other eye, and from about 9:30 in the morning until about 8 o'clock at night, that was me, blind, for the whole... It was really strange, and lots of blood. It was a very strange day.
That certainly beats a bake-off day. That really does. There's not a lot there. Time for one quick tweet, I'm hoping. Let's see who's come through. Where is Sirio? Quick, I have to push you on. Where is Sirio?
Dead?
Oh,
he
no, I
is
can't
so
believe
dead. He is dead as yesterday's fish. I
loved you, and now I hate you.
I don't think... Meryn was under orders from Cersei Lannister. I don't think Meryn would have left Sirio alive.
OK, I'm going to have to leave it like that. That's killed me, though. I want Sirio to be here. One thing I could pride myself on before we leave is if I promise a walk of atonement, I deliver it. So if you could all get your poo and tomatoes ready... I'm so sorry, we haven't got enough time. What you do have is a sneaky peek of next week's show.
As long as I'm standing, the war is not over.
Our two ancient houses face collapse because of your stupidity.
I did what I had to do to survive. I will always be a Stark.
We're going to take back the Iron Islands. Then we'll get revenge.
He died for us. If we are not willing to do the same for him, we're cowards. The real war is between the living and the dead. And make no mistake, the dead are coming.
That looks good. Paul, what excited you about that clip?
I love it. It's like a massive game of chess now. Bishops are starting to move out. The knights are getting in position. Yeah, it's all going to kick off very, very soon.
All centre
ground.
Around River Run. Yeah, how about you, Ian?
I think it's great. This season has just built it from episode 1, step by step, and it's just getting more and more exciting as the
Are you no hard feelings?
No hard feelings. She's a sweet girl.
You're a good man. Leaves me just enough time to thank our guests, Paul Hollywood and Ian Beattie. We'll see you next time. We're going to be joined by Rob Beckett, Melvin Adoom and Sirio Forel. He lives again, a.k.a. Miltos Yoromoa. We're back at the usual time of 10 p.m. next week. I might have one of the bread rolls that Paul brought with him.
You're not fat enough for anything.
Cheers, Paul. I love you.